What are we doing here?
Playing Mass Effect.
Mass Effect Andromeda, is it?
Andromeda.
Has Kevin Sorbo in it? The Andromeda show.
I have no idea who that is.
You don't know who Kevin Sorbo is?
The name sounds
Let's
familiar.
not know. I'm not even going to get it. This is going to come after. Don't you worry. The second this recording's done, we are going to have this conversation. This is not over. Save data error. Alright, so you don't have the deep space pack and everything. So we just got that.
Good start.
Love it. Cut it.
DLC pre-order stuff downloaded.
I can't believe you didn't download the pre-DLC. Like,
Me? This is your PS4 at your house we're playing on right now.
Can't believe you didn't download it. Like,
you're the one that downloaded it and then forgot to download it.
look, why are we throwing around the blame game?
I could have swore you asked me about this stuff.
Why are we throwing? I didn't ask you about any DLC I need to download.
Data required to load. It's still being installed.
Ha!
Fucking hell.
So now it's working.
Take 3.
Take 3. Yeah, it is actually take 3. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so let's. Yeah, there we go. Now it's loading. So this is Mass Effect Andromeda.
Starring Kevin Sorbo, as I said earlier.
Yes.
Star of the Hercules TV show.
Yes.
And he was Hercules in Xena. Not many people know that.
Yes.
I can't believe you don't know who Kevin Sorbo is. Didn't you grow up during the 2000s?
Yeah, but
Kevin Sorbo, man. He's in he's actually what's that Christian movie? God Isn't Dead.
Yeah, because
he's totally the guy in that.
You know me, I can't get enough of my Christian movies.
Right next to anime, Christian movies are your favorite kind of genre.
Absolutely. You know me so well.
I do. I do know you well, Paul.
So yeah, this is Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm on a planet called Vold.
You just made that up.
Is this how it's going to be all video? You're just going to accuse me of stuff and not actually help me and help me talk about the stuff?
Well, like, okay, so it's the first Mass Effect game since 3.
Yes. So timeline wise,
yeah,
this is about 600 years after the original trilogy, but they set off before the events of Mass Effect 3. So yeah, they have no idea about like the whole Reaper invasion and all that stuff.
And so, do they know anything?
Oh,
great
okay,
start. So, quick question: do they know that like humanity is okay now?
They didn't even know it happened to begin with.
So they don't know it happened, but do other people know?
No, like everyone who set off in this whole thing. So the way it works is they had the Andromeda Initiative, is what this whole thing is about. There was 4 arcs. There was a human arc, a Turian arc, an Asari arc, and I think a Krogan or Solarian. I can't remember the last one.
Yeah.
The problem is only the human arc has showed up.
Okay.
So one of the side quests is I've got to try and find what happened to all the other arcs.
So why is there a Turian and an Asari there then?
So there was a group of people that set off a little earlier. There's a place called the Nexus, which is essentially like the new Citadel.
Okay.
So there are a mix of races on there, who I think are people who set off independently of the arcs.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they were like the first in.
So when you got there, they've been there for about 14 months before the human arc has arrived. So, and they basically explain to you, oh, okay, so everything's a shit show. None of all the planets they looked at thought they could set up on are all a mess. So part of it is you need to go to these planets and do all this stuff to make it possible to live on them. From
what you've explained here, like, there are no characters in any of this story so far that are from...
No.
Like not like direct characters, but I mean, like, there's nobody that's like, oh yeah, there was the Citadel. Remember that?
There's been a couple of vague connections, like some people who have referenced things in previous games.
Okay.
So the reason I'm able to know exactly where it is because firstly, I was speaking to a Krogan, they didn't know the genophage had been cured.
Oh, okay.
But then I spoke to another character who referenced some stuff from Mass Effect 2 specifically.
Okay.
So as far as I can tell, it's somewhere between 2 and 3 is when they set off. But they arrived 600 years later.
I suppose this is as good of an explanation as I need to say.
Basically, yeah. So this is why they don't... So they don't know about the Reaper invasion of Mass Effect 3.
Okay. Right, should I just go ahead while you talk to Lysana?
So yeah, this is Vold, I believe. I've already done a lot of stuff, so it's 100% viable.
Okay, what did I tell you about making up names for planets? Like...
Hang on, let me find it. Just to shut you up.
Jesus Christ.
Vold, or however you say that.
What are all these menus
I'm on
like?
now. So this is all the side missions. So the journal, so you have priority, main missions, allies and relationships is stuff, loyalty missions. Yeah. Helios assignments are essentially side quests and they're split between the planets.
Okay.
So Aya is the Angara homeworld, which is the new species. I'll see if we can find one.
Just for the sake of the video, let's just prime this at saying that we're going to do at least one story mission.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen in it. We don't know anything about it ourselves.
Yeah, I should mention, if you look at the top left corner, I'm level 28. So that I can do one of those, because those are the 2 worlds I haven't been to yet that I need to evaluate for people to live on.
Yeah, either start one of those or feel free to go to the Helios assignments.
So yeah, it's split up between worlds. So there you go, Nexus, that's the new Citadel. Vold's the planet I'm on now, and I haven't got any for Eos, which was the first planet you land on.
Okay.
Additional tasks are just sort of like collectibles or
extra wank.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
It's just like do this thing so many times. Like one of them is go scan a bunch of different minerals that are on different planets.
You're telling me planet scanning is back in this game?
Okay, it's not planet scanning. So if I go back to the map,
it's not planet scanning if you're on the planet.
So the mining in this game uses a similar principle. So there are mining zones. So when you're going around them in your Nomad, when you're in a mining area, you've got a little window you can open up, and it gives you that same thing of like how when you're closer to it, there's like a bar that goes up, and you hit a button to drop a drone.
This is sounding like it's going to piss me off, Luke.
It's not great, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
So like you got these little icons.
Let's do like an example. Let's do like, okay, so let's start off with doing like 1 or 2 of these things along the map. Then let's do one of the assignments, and then let's do an op.
Okay.
So how about that? So if you're somebody watching, the last third of the video will be the story related stuff. This is just the first 2 things. These are kind of the moment-to-moment things you'll be doing throughout the game.
So as I said, I've already basically fixed this planet. So this is the settlement that I've helped create here. Otherwise, it's just an empty area.
Oh, okay.
So the whole thing is, you make it viable by... There's like 2 specific missions.
Yeah.
And then that gets you like 50% of the way. That lets you set up a settlement. And then there's a bunch of side quests that help make it more habitable, basically.
Interesting.
That's the Tempest.
Okay, so that's your Normandy stand-in.
And here is the Nomad. I've got golden skin on this
Mako.
because I think I got that as a pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
Sweet. So those things are essentially outposts. Like if you go around us, if I look on the map, so it'll mark out spots. They're kind of like towers, basically.
Interesting.
In that it marks a spot out. So if you see that, before I set there, it's just a white spot.
Yeah.
Once I get there, it drops them down. I can fast travel between all of them. And otherwise, if I fast travel to one of them, I can drop my Nomad, or I can change my loadout on my squad mates.
And if you fast travel to those, or if you do the white objectives that you haven't done yet, if you do those in the surrounding area, does that expand your base, or does it just...
No, it essentially just marks out an area of the map. So it'll mark out all the mining zones that are in that area.
Interesting.
So there's a few around. So if I'll jump to this one, because there's a few mining zones.
Yeah, let's do like... There's like one of the mining ones, I think I seen one that was called like White Death. It was about some kind of lone sniper.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do that one as well.
So yeah, this is like the second planet.
Okay.
When you first meet the Angara, they give you 2 more planets to go look at.
The Angara are the new race, are they?
They are the new race.
Okay.
Do I have one with me? Do I have the guy with me? You get an Angaran follow-up pretty quickly into the game. No. So I've got a Turian and Cora Harper. I'll tell you what, if I go onto the terminal. So yeah, if you go onto... You've got terminal so you can see emails with stuff that I think will give you like additional side missions. And then load out.
So this is like a text equivalent of, hey... Yeah. We know you're busy, but there's a settlement under attack.
Sort of. So it uses the same system from Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
So like if you, as you can see, if I use heavier weapons, it can affect my recharge speed.
Okay.
So then you also have armor. I'm just using this scavenger armor. I think this was another pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
And it has a similar stuff of just like less weapons lay west, I get more ammo and better sell price.
Okay.
Consumables, I don't bother with those. I'll be honest, I haven't used them at all.
Right.
And then squad. So you can choose your 2 squad mates. There's 6 in total. So we've got Cora, Jarl. So this is the Angara. This is the new race in the game.
Okay. Take him along. Let's see what he does.
Bring him along. What else do we bring? So we've got Drac, who's the Krogan. So Liam and Cora are the first 2 you have. And then there's PB and Vetra.
Okay. Let's bring Vetra.
Yeah. Tech.
I like me some Turians, some bird people.
And you can also customise the Nomad with paint jobs.
Sick, bro. Can you drift?
Then sort of. There's a mod I've got for it. Oh, hang on.
Uh-oh.
What's this? Oh yeah, so it just refreshes to load in the other 2 characters.
Oh.
Okay, so if I get back in, there's no bullshit about waiting for them to get in. If you just get in a Nomad, it automatically teleports in.
Yeah.
So, the mining zone up here. So, if you see that little window at the top left... Oh, by the way, when I'm on ice, it's actually a little harder to drive.
Yeah. Like, yeah, of course.
It's genuine, there is an effect on performance. Drifting. Right,
is that
so...
an animal of the planet?
Yes.
Hit it with the...
If I scanned it. So one of my side quests is scanning wildlife
And can they be hostile? Can they be regular?
Yeah, most of them I've encountered so far are just like, they don't do anything unless you attack them.
Docile, yeah.
Most of them are just kind of like, they'll walk around unless you do something. So also I'll show you this. The Nomad has 2 modes. So it has like a normal mode where you drive a lot, you drive fast.
Yeah.
Or if you hit L1, you swap into like I don't know what the mode is, but it makes so fun. This is the speedier mode. You see, I can't get up the hill.
Yeah.
If I hit L1.
It's just like high gear.
Yeah, so it does a lot better at getting up steeper hills.
Okay. Some of the like environments don't look especially amazing.
Each one has been pretty different. Like this is an ice world. The first one I went to Eos was like a desert world.
Yeah.
And one of the other ones I haven't been to yet is like a jungle world. I think they've definitely tried to give each one a bit of a different look.
Yeah.
Also, there's exactly like the Mako. There's jump jets and boosts on it.
Oh, of course.
Right. So I'm in a mining zone. If you see at the top left corner, so I'll bring this window down. Oh, there's a shit ton of copper here, like that. So like that's the exact same thing from Mass Effect 2, isn't it? Really. Just in this case,
you're driving around the planet instead of shooting.
spots.
Yeah, instead of just shooting drones at it. That doesn't seem like a necessarily better way to address.
You can buy minerals as well.
Can you buy drones?
But
and
I think
just
it's
have them
kind
find
of
stuff.
Oh, you don't buy drones. You have infinite drones basically. So there you go. You can see there's lots of copper coming up.
Is there an ED stand-in that will make fun of you for shooting probes at Uranus?
I wish. That was a great thing. The
cool.
AI in this game is called Sam.
Okay.
And I won't go into the details. There's story-based stuff with him.
Okay.
Because of course, when you first arrive, your father's the Pathfinder.
Yeah,
He dies and makes you the Pathfinder before he dies.
This is a lot of there's a lot of weirdness. There's a lot of like just driving around and doing a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, that's basically the mining, how it works in this game. So if you look icons, that's like Remnant Ruins, that icon.
Okay.
So Remnant are some mysterious race. Nobody really knows anything about them other than that.
Yes.
They leave. There's robots behind defending their things.
Yes. Reapers.
Protheans. Reapers. I don't know. I have no idea what they
are. Right. So then let's do one of the other side quests that
okay.
involve...
So scan for the Wraith.
Yeah, scan for the Wraith.
So yeah. I also unlocked an additional upgrade that's like it can reduce my traction control so we can go faster. So like blue, that's faster driving basically.
Okay.
So I've mostly done everything on here, to be honest.
Well, like it's still good to see one or two of the kind of moment-to-moment things. Like, it seems like a lot of what you're doing here is a lot of just cleanup, but at the same time, I mean, it's one of the problems with a lot of open world games is what do you do once you've beaten the story? What do you do once you've completed all the necessary things to do on a planet?
Yeah.
It's like, why can't that stuff be either part of it to force you to do it, or I suppose the fact that it's just ancillary means you. Yeah. Sweet, nice. Well, that was...
Did that even die? No. Okay, nope. Whatever.
I thought it was behind, lady.
So like, once again, going up into the hill, swap into like the high gear mode because the high speed mode would probably struggle trying to get up this hill. You can still boost in it as a jump like normal. It's just like it's better at getting up hills, but it's a bit slower on flat land, basically.
Okay. Yeah, like it's one of the weird things that a lot of open world games don't seem to be able to tackle. Like Horizon sort of has it, but like it also has a lot of story attached to nearly every side mission, so it's a little easier to kind of digest. But like especially here when it's like there's these mining objectives, or there's this whole thing where you're scanning for this wraith. It's like, what do you do?
Here we go.
Like what if you don't do this stuff and you go to another planet? What is the consequence of that? It's like. Is there like a trophy associated with completely scanning a planet and getting everything done? Is there some incentive?
Yeah, true. I haven't really encountered anything like big major story hooks in it. Okay. So one thing is when you get to scan, usually it'll point you towards the area, but not exactly where.
Of course, yeah.
But at the top right, if you see like that has 2 bars, so if I just run back a bit, you'll see it goes down to 1. So it goes down to 1. So it does that to indicate when you're getting closer to something. So it went up to 3 bars just when I drove over it here. So yeah, so you scan. This is your scanner. It's very simple.
Oh,
that's wildlife. So one of the things with scanning is you have sort of so it glows red like that. I've tried with my Nomad; it just constantly glows red. So I don't know if there's a glitch or something like that.
Probably just heat. Well, I was gonna say it's heat signatures or something. I guess now.
Got it. There's a door.
I thought it's thing supposed to scan. And it just died for some reason.
Fair enough.
Same. Sneepers.
Wait,
is that nearby? Okay, it's just right over here, so we'll run over there.
Yeah, a lot of these environments look real sparse.
Oh yeah, so you've got your jump jets and stuff. I'm using biotic profiles instead of jump jets. It's biotic energy that pushes me around. Lets me jump up and down.
It'd be interesting to see some of the combat.
Okay, so here we go. So here's some more Angara. Oh yeah, so some worlds, when you first get to the worlds, they're hazardous.
Yeah.
Thanks. My father taught me as soon as I was old enough to hold a gun.
So it kind of has these icons, as far as I can tell with these ones. Left is like sarcastic, goofy response. The right is just professional response. And then there's like top left is emotional, and top right, I can't remember what the other one was.
I'm glad I'm not on the business end of that thing.
As long as you're not Ket, you're safe.
So Ket are the hostile race, basically.
Okay.
They're another race we've encountered, but they just started shooting us straight away. We haven't really had any experience with them.
Okay.
Do the cat come around here a lot?
Only some. Resistance, but I pick
So I can just hit square to skip through this stuff. This is just junk conversation, I think.
It's still good to listen through that stuff.
Hmm.
And so that was that the whole...
I think that was the whole quest. I don't know if I'd done earlier steps of it.
That's...
So skills. So this time around, you're not just limited to what your class choice is. So, I mean, I usually play Biotics. Vanguard was my go-to class for Mass Effect. But I can go for combat. So the way it works is you have a bunch of skills and you have a bunch of passives. So
Jesus
combat has
Christ, these menus.
individual passives for each weapon.
And it just
increasing base damage with them.
Some of these are just fucking...
I haven't unlocked any combat. I pretty much put all my points into Biotics.
This seems like a weird way to address the people who complained that 2 and 3 were too shooter-oriented. Like, by saying, oh, okay, look, well, here's a lot more RPG mechanics to kind of, like, throw at you. But it just seems like there's just a shotgun approach to the skill system.
It's just like, yeah, you can literally have anything. Like, if I remember rightly, Charge and Singularity were specific abilities. Like, Charge was the Vanguard ability, and I think Singularity was the Adept ability.
Yeah.
But here I can unlock either of them.
Yeah, it just seems like a real scattershot
approach. Because the other thing is you now have profiles, because you can only equip 3 active powers at one time.
Right.
So then if you go into profiles, so these are 4 different profiles I have set up, and if you see like the little colours around the edges of them, if I can find the... So essentially you can have a profile, which is basically buffs the stats.
Okay.
So for example, I'm using the Adept on this skill set. It's just general buff to biotic moves.
Okay.
And then Vanguard, as a profile, it's a combination of biotic and melee attacks.
Right. Which are...
And then there's like another little bonus exclusive. So with Adept and Vanguard, it changes the jumping to biotic and evades.
Okay.
Whereas with Soldier, what's the one at the bottom? So you get marksman focus, grants an escalating damage bonus. So if you kill people really quickly, it does more damage. And then like engineers have tech and stuff like that.
So it just seems like a more like general overview of the Mass Effect kind of archetypes in terms of like classes, but it seems like less. It seems less like divisive, or not necessarily divisive, but it seems less like they matter in a weird way to say. Like, yeah, they're buffs to the abilities that you pick, but in reality, you're just still at the end of the day just shooting a lot of dudes and using a lot of specific abilities.
Yeah, like you can see, you have the 6 classes here. These are all the 6 individual classes you could pick.
Okay.
And then there's Explorer, which I think is supposed to be like for someone who wants a bit of everything.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm primarily biotics. I always love using biotic moves. So you can see like all the old ones are here. I think Lance and Annihilation are new ones, and Backlash. I don't remember them.
Okay.
And then the passives, Barrier, which is my shield.
Okay.
Biotics, and then Containment, which I think is just limits it. And then you have Tech, and you can see your squad skills here as well. I just have them on auto level up. I really don't bother with them.
Yeah. Do they?
I think they just have 3 specific skills and 2 passives.
And do they matter at all in combat? Can you tell any of these guys?
No, to be honest, not really. I've never really, like, even when I've had Cora or PB, because they're the biotics, I don't see them using their moves that often.
So you're telling me there's no companion wheel?
Yeah, there's no companion wheel. This is the new wheel. You lets you choose your 3 weapons, your consumables, or look at your profiles.
That sucks.
Yeah, I really don't like that.
Like
either.
I'm gonna I feel like I'm already coming into this game with a bit of a negative impression, but this just seems like it has largely stripped a lot of the control and the great sense of control that you had in the other Mass Effect games.
Yeah,
like
that's
a big part of it was freezing or slowing down combat and going, okay, right, so Garrus is gonna do this, and as he does this, he'll pop their armor, and then I'll move in with a shotgun and be able to like do some critical damage while someone else will buff me and stuff like that. This just seems like it strips all that away.
Like, one thing I remember specifically with 2 and 3 was like, you'd look at enemies and be like, alright, this guy's got shields.
Yeah.
It's like I'd want to balance it out. So I was Vanguard, so I was half biotic, half combat.
Yeah.
So I want someone who can do tech. I'd always go with Garrus because Garrus was really good tech in combat.
Yeah.
And then the third person, I just like somebody really heavy on combat, like a Krogan.
Yeah, be able to suppress
So it's like,
enemies.
that guy's got shields. All right, Garrus hit him with overload.
Yeah,
I can't
exactly.
do that now.
That's just...
So if I see a guy with shields, I just have to either shoot the shit out of him or hope a tech teammate's going to do enough. I just look at it now and it's like, I don't really care which teammates I have, so I just kind of rotate them out. I really think that... I don't know why they removed that.
That just seems like it removes the one thing that was really satisfying about the combat in Mass Effect. Because, look, some people say the combat in Mass Effect wasn't all that amazing, and they're right. It was a cover-based shooter with with a handful of buffs and stuff like that. But it's this with like from what I've seen at least, like the cover system is like a kind of you walk into cover and you kind of crouch down.
Yeah, if I get a gun out.
As well as stuff like the jump jets and stuff like that. Seems like a really good opportunity. So you just straight up snap into cover.
It doesn't snap. It's literally like if you just sort of go near it.
Yeah,
and then and then you can move back and forth or run out of it quickly.
Yeah, because it seems like with what you've shown me with the enhanced like movements and stuff like that, it feels like a really good opportunity to like, right, I'm gonna jump into the air, jump jet to the left, and in mid-air tell somebody to overload a guy while I'm gonna move in with like some special move. That just seems like it completely removes that. And
that's probably been my biggest complaint about the game so far.
Yeah,
is that removing all that, because I loved it. It's just like, especially because this game, I think they've definitely tried to improve on like the combining skill stuff.
Yeah.
So for them to then remove the ability to tell your squad mates what skills to use is...
So wait, are you most of the time... Is it you that's doing all of those abilities? You're most of the time
overloading. So those are just my free abilities.
See, I don't... See, a part of that... that doesn't sit well with me because the whole part of playing Mass Effect was that you would have these teammates with you and it was your squad. Your squad mattered. The squad was was like the focal point. You were like, right, like you just said, you described bringing Garrus and then maybe... you bring Rex, or you bring like
the Solarian guy from the second one was someone like in Mass Effect 2, my squad was Garrus and what was his name? Morton, yeah. Because it was Garrus could destroy shields. Morton had incinerate, so he could destroy armor.
Yeah, exactly.
That was all I needed.
And like that pivoted, that made you care about those characters because you were constantly using them. Not just in conversations, not just hearing their perspectives.
It was
or
like the only
talking
time I would use others is for their loyalty missions because those two covered the two things I needed.
Yeah.
Because I was playing biotic, so if once someone's shield or their armor was gone, they would just stand to the health bar.
Yeah.
Obviously, I could throw them in the air, stop them moving.
It just seems really.
Yeah, they just shouldn't remove that. That was at least I think we're agreement is that was a core part of the game. That stuff. I should also mention skills-wise, it's like Mass Effect 3. So yeah, have your first 3 unlocks and then you have to pick ones for the last 6
And
ranks.
can you undo those, or can you pick those like?
I don't think so. I think it might be you have to buy like a respec or something.
Okay.
I haven't looked for it, to be honest.
Because it just seems like the idea that you're able to just build into any class with anything. It's like, is there any part of this entire skill system that makes you commit, that makes you lock into something that you can't undo? Because like. Some people don't like that. Some people like the ability to just to have a choice. But like the other side of it for me is like I can invest my points into anything, and that doesn't. Yeah. To me, that doesn't sit awfully well because it's like, well, if all the classes, if I can invest myself into any of the classes, why bother? Why bother picking a build? Why bother choosing a build when everything works?
Yeah.
And that just kind of makes me feel like again, it circles right back into the whole like. Teammates mattering because you would invest your points into the teammates and make like for example like Morden's incinerate really powerful, but it's like, well, why would I bother when everything I do is just super overpowered? You know what I mean? Like again, it removes that connection to your teammates.
If I wanted
that you
to, I
always
could
need.
totally just have. I could put overload on her, and then put incinerate on her to cover both bases. But it's just like,
why bother?
Because I think they've at the very least like they've made some biotic moves more offensive.
Yeah.
Than just like isolating them.
Yeah.
So like Lance is a move I keep using, and that does a chunk of damage to people with shields. So that was the other thing. Like they've bought combos. Combos are still here, so now they explicitly list which abilities. So like pull, for example, primes the target for a combo detonation.
Yeah. Okay.
So say like I could use a biotic move to prime somebody for a detonation, and then somebody else could come in with a move like overload, which detonates it.
Yeah.
So they've at least like mixed that up, but again, it's like it makes no sense to do that when you've removed the ability for me to kind of my squad mates.
To kind of wrap up on it, at least for my own take, it just seems watered down.
Yeah,
like significantly watered down, to where nothing really matters and anything you do is fine. And like there's like a positive side of that of like, well, look, the game's really easily accessible, but like Mass Effect 2 did a really good job of like
streamlining it.
It's accessible, but if you wanted to optimize your builds, you could. Where like Mass Effect 1 was very rigid in this, like, you're building into a specific class and you're building into the class you chose.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 2 bridged a really good gap of, well, look, even if you don't invest and you don't do anything, you can just put points into whatever and it'll work.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, but if you're someone that wanted to optimize and like be really good and be really efficient in your skills, that was there for you to do if you wanted to learn how to do that. In here, it just seems it's like whatever works. Don't worry about it, and that just seems really basic. But sure, anyway, let's continue on.
We'll get off this planet then, because I've done most of the stuff in here. So you can just hold when you're in your Nomad. You can just absolutely jump back to your ship.
Okay, so let's do one of the assignments anyway.
Yeah, I'll go to one of the new planets I haven't been to yet.
Cool. Whoosh.
So that's, of course, this is the Tempest, the new ship. Give you a quick run around.
Is there a Joker equivalent?
Not really. Honestly, the two pilots I have, there's not much to them.
Yeah.
So like, there's this Solarian guy, and then there's Suvi.
Let's see what Carlos wants to say.
Glad you stopped by. You'll pardon me if I keep an eye on our vector.
That's probably smart.
Nothing like being on the bridge of your very own ship, is there?
You mentioned something about helping design the Tempest.
Test pilot, mostly. Plunging through the Nemean abyss was almost a preparation for the Scourge. Of course, it took a whole team to build the Tempest. I was the only one to come to Helios, though.
Why did you?
What can I say? We poured our hearts into a ship that wouldn't realize her potential until Andromeda. I could have stood on the shore and waved goodbye, or took the leap to see how it all turned out.
I like the Tempest, but I'm not sure I'd travel between galaxies for her.
The unknown frontier had its charms, too. It's just strange not having the rest of the design team. I remember Serena debugging line 2281 over and over, chewing that green pencil. Tion and O'Connell arguing equations, tapping on the console, 3 drips of coffee on the corner.
You remember all that?
Oh, yes. Solarians have photographic memories, and apparently mine's unusually sharp. Like my past is still happening. Though I suppose with the Solarian arc missing, you might not get many
I guess it was
chances
a
to compare.
Solarian arc. I can't remember if it was a Solarian or Krogan arc.
Did you hear anything about the Ark back on the Nexus?
Not a peep. Isn't that strange? You'd think there'd be something. Not that I dislike your company, but it's lonely without other Solarians.
Don't sweat it. We'll bring the Solarians home.
Of course we will. I just
Her mouth
have to be
just is
patient. That's all. I should get back to
Yeah.
it, but thank you.
Like, I know.
Like, she's fine. She looks like a fucking Solarian. Looks grand to me. But then the second she's like,
She deserves to be in the
we'll
Pathfinder's
see.
hands. Please, come by any time.
oh, I guess that's it.
We'll go. Right, so on the left here in the escape pod is where PB, the Asari, usually relaxes. And then the right is where so you can customise your equipment. There's a loadout station there, just like the one I used earlier.
Oh, okay. Right, then let's go take a look at one of the
We go through
other
here.
things to do.
You have AVP
Go around your
outstanding,
ship.
Pathfinder.
Okay, so you have 3 terminals here. You have your research centre, firstly. So you have research and development. So you remember how I was scanning stuff earlier?
Yeah.
Sometimes that'll give you research points, and it's split up into 3 categories. So you have Milky Way, which is basically all the stuff you've already seen in previous games.
Okay.
Then there's Helios, which is Angaran and Ket weapons and equipment. And then there's Remnant, which is Remnant weapons.
Ah, yes.
But the weird thing about that is I haven't actually covered like any sort of human-esque remnants. It's only been robots still running around. So you get weapons, armor, and augmentations. So you can craft weapons and put these augmentations on them.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't done it because I just tend to buy weapons and you can't do it to them.
Yeah.
And then you go into development, so you can see this is stuff I can make. And all the materials that come from mining, or just general exploration.
These menus just mean fucking.
So yeah, you've got a ready to develop, or you can go between them. So you've got my weapon classes.
Okay. Which let's back out anyway. This just seems to be all the crafting stuff.
Um,
What? Okay, you don't have to go into them.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
what
sure.
are the other two What are the other 2 terminals for?
So that one's buying and selling, and then around here is AVP status control.
Okay.
So basically, every so often when you do stuff like viability missions, you can choose to. I think I might have one now. So I can choose to unlock a set of cryopods because there are still people who are in
Still people asleep.
cryo.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can, and then they provide passive rewards. So
Why does it say collect in 45 minutes?
I literally just collected it now, so then in 45 minutes time there'll be more rewards to collect. So if you look here, so
I get it now. That just seems like a weird, like, timer to put on it for
it's
whatever
all just on
reason.
45.
I'm guessing it's just to make you come back and do it.
Yeah.
Seems bizarre.
So I can unlock some more cryo stuff, grey market connections.
Commerce pods. This all looks like free.
So it's commerce, military, and science, and they're all. I don't think there's any story hooks to this. It's just like,
extra.
I get more research data if I unlock that pod,
okay.
or I can get better. I can get ammo and a jump.
And then the other one.
And the last one is where you can initiate multiplayer missions.
Okay.
So it's got like that. You know, like Assassin's Creed 4, where you can send your pirates off to do other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's got that, so you can look at a mission and then send a squad to do it. And then these ones with the arrows are Apex missions, which mean you can send a strike team or you can do them in multiplayer.
Okay.
So that'll give you rewards for both multiplayer and single player.
Okay, grand.
I think anyway. I haven't tried doing them.
So
I have played some multiplayer.
Let's go do some. One of your assignments.
Okay.
And then after the assignment, we'll go take a look at that new planet.
So what? So do one of the multiplayer matches or?
No. You said you had assignments. Like it was like.
I think it was just junk ones. I'll tell you what. So we'll just go to a new planet because that way I'll probably get into the combat anyway.
Okay.
Right. So the planet browser is pretty much the same as every other game it's been in.
Yeah. Doesn't have the great music though, I bet.
I think it does. So this is the whole galaxy. So we'll go over here. So we've not been to this one. So like, unlike the other ones, there's no mass relays or whatever they were called, so they can't just like hit one of those things and jump across the galaxy.
So how do they do it?
I think they just have to fly normally, or they have some specifically designed.
That just sounds like the biggest pile of wank ever.
They haven't really explained how it works out here because they don't have those Mass Effect relays.
Yeah,
to get around like the originals.
Well, is Andromeda the solar system?
I don't think so.
Or like okay.
I think this is completely. Like as I said, it took them 600 years to get from the original system.
But how long does it take to get from there to here?
I don't know. That stuff's never really been explained.
That seems like it's like, oh, we've technology that allows us to jump all these things. Oh, like the Mass Effect relays. They're like, no, it's more advanced. It's like, well, how did you come up with it? Because you, as far as we know, you're a snapshot from 600 years ago. So how the fuck did you manage to like figure out the technology in the 600 years when you were all asleep?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't remember that stuff being explained.
Yeah.
Right. So why am I looking at this?
Sure, why not?
I'm gonna land on this apparently.
Sweet.
Yeah, so once again, weapons. So I've got a pistol, shotgun, and assault rifle, and through upgrades, it doesn't affect my recharge speed. You also have individual melee, so you can have an omni blade, or there's actual melee weapons like swords and stuff. I think I haven't crafted any of them yet.
Cool.
Or I can get a biotic amplifier, which is just biotic punch, basically.
Sweet.
And you don't have all of them. I don't know if that might change per class, but the rest of them you just have to unlock through combat fitness, which is a thingy tree.
Yeah, I think that was the thing in the first game, wasn't it? That allowed you, or no, it was like you had to like up your combat skill with certain weapons to be able to be more accurate and be better with them in Mass Effect 1.
Yeah. But it was like every class, I think, was limited to certain weapons, and the rest of them you had to do a lot of work to essentially master and use without.
Which is it's a cool way to do it. I still think that's a cool idea.
Now the exiles have taken over.
Cosmic radiation is off the charts, Ryder. You'll need to
yeah, so that's another thing, because there was people living on the Nexus for 14 months before your arc showed up.
Yeah, and
there was a revolution basically, and a bunch of people got kicked off the Nexus for it, and are scattered across
you guys
all
are
the planets.
dicks. Get out here.
From a cosmic ray tearing you apart at the molecular level. So stick to the Nomad.
Descent engine engaged. Good luck, Ryder.
So is there going to be like a story mission or anything on these planets, or
So the main thing is there's a remnant vault, and once you go through that and deal with that, it helps the planet become a bit easier to live on.
Okay.
And then usually another one is like clearing out a big enemy stronghold to screw their operations up on the planet. Right. So if you see the bottom left corner is life support. So especially when you land on a planet to begin with, it's essentially like a timer before of how much. So
how you
get
have
life
to
support.
around, yeah. Right, then let's go to the vault.
So there you go. There's forward station drop points, which are those things that you can use to fast travel. I've got a question mark there, so I'll look at that.
That task name looked like it was gonna piss me off. Called Breaking Rocks for Science.
Yeah.
Nomad should compensate for the lower
Okay,
gravity.
so there's low grav on this planet as well.
I have to ask. Does this game try to be funny, like a lot of times?
There's kind of jokes, like PB, she's kind of got the same background as Liara. You encounter her, that she's an expert in ancient ruins, blah blah blah. She's just got a bit more of a sense of humour to her. She's a bit more forward about stuff, I guess.
And like, everything I've seen so far about the humour just seems bad.
There's
like,
some stuff that I mean, like at one point I went to talk to Jarl on the Tempest, and he was talking about how he wanted to get everyone gifts. But he's, there's all foreign races that he's only met recently, so he didn't really know what to get them.
But why would he get them gifts?
Don't know. They said it's the Angara, they're a different race to everybody else, so it's the first time encountering them. Oh. So how do I get into there? Must be that down there. So yeah, like with the life support, there are basically just safe zones. Like on Vold, it's really cold, so outside of certain areas. Oh, okay, so I can't get out of the Nomad at the moment. Because of this radiation. How do I get in here then? Do I just drive into here?
Just drive in. It's like a parking garage.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, so here we go, combat. So as I said, yeah, you just run up to cover and you drop into it.
So these guys just have their like front door open. They're just like, yeah, guys, come on in.
Seems like it.
Fucking let yourselves in. Feel free.
So melee is just triangle, and you just do a quick swing like that. So if I use the weapon wheel, I can choose what weapon. So I like using this side one. It's kind of like a revolver thing. And if I jump up in the air and hold the aim, sort of hover for a second, like that.
That was kind of cool.
The combat still works as like Mass Effect, as you expect it. It's just a bit more looser, I think. You've got the jump in, and you can move around a lot easier than other Mass Effect games kind of made it, basically. So you can see that guy's got the HUD's like exactly the same. You can see that guy's got a shield. If I press left or right, I can indicate teammates shoot this person specifically.
Okay.
Also nickel, so
just
mining resources.
There's a little more control than I thought there would be.
So I pick out the scanner and look at stuff. Just try and get research points basically, so I can craft more stuff. So these are ammo boxes that can be scattered around during combat areas. You've got containers where you just get random shit.
Yeah.
Biotic amplifier. I wanted that thing. This box here is health, because they've gone back to the limited health system. So you've got your shields which regenerate, but your health doesn't regenerate.
Okay.
Something here lets me change my loadout. So I just got a biotic amplifier, so let's use that. So that makes it. So then terminals, read the computers. Jump on there.
Is this just an outpost, like a combat arena almost?
There is a marker for a quest in here, but I don't know what I'm looking for. It says it lower.
Datapad.
Datapad.
God, Luke, use your eyes. Like, you're giving me shit for the Horizon one. You're not even looking around. Like.
Okay, so I need to find code snippets around here. And they're all really far away. Lovely.
Just what we need. Exiles with explosives. Let's get into that base.
The attached master is data here
A lot of her answers, like a lot of Ryder's answers, just seem to be like soft sarcasm that just makes her come across like a snarky prick more than like a good guy. It's like, just more we need, more of these things, and it's or like the sniper who is like, glad I'm not on the business end of that thing. It's like, is everything you're gonna say just a one-liner that's like fucking kitschy as fuck? No one's that fucking quick-witted. And like that's another part about Ryder that seems to have stuck out, either both from my impressions and from what I've seen, is that like Shepard was an entity for you. It was a window. He or she was a window for you to go, right, well this is my Shepard. This is what I would say in this situation, or this is what I would want Shepard to say in this situation. For this character, like you could be as business as usual, like very straight-faced military kind of person. You could be a snarky prick. You could be an ass.
I think in main conversation options you can do that. But I think it's like outside of that, like just combat, like general chatter seems to mostly rely on snarky answers. Shit, I forgot
that just
where I'm
seems
going now.
Yeah, that just seems weird.
Okay, if I go left.
I feel like that would be a good place to have it to be like a renegade or paragon response.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're in passive conversation walking around, and then you can be like R2 or L2 to say casual, serious, or R1 or R2 or L1 to be like casual, serious, snarky, or whatever. Like almost like, you know, Titanfall's response system.
Yeah.
Where you use the D-pad to pick your responses.
Alright, so
And so is this just another place you got to walk into?
I guess so.
Are these story? Is this like stuff that will lead up to a story mission?
Well, this is essentially the first quest it's given me on this planet.
These just seem bizarre. No bad guys here. Oh.
So
Anarchist.
That one's just got armor.
His name's just Anarchist.
Guess so. These are all exiles, as far as I can tell.
That guy just called bad guy.
Yeah. But you know, there's
Bad
sharpshooter. There's another one. That comes
Raider.
Up, just raider. So that's the new thing with pull, is if you hold it down, you can pull them directly towards you.
Yeah. That just seems real placeholder, like, for naming enemies. I remember when it was like the Blue Sun, like Blue Sun Sniper.
Yeah.
Was it Blue Suns? It was Blue Suns were the mercenary
like Blue
team.
Moon or something, and there was Red something.
Yeah, it was like the red something, and then Blue Suns.
Yeah, all the Mass Effect 2 ones that introduced.
The mercenary factions and stuff like that were all cool. Especially kicking one of the Blue Suns through the window.
Yeah,
kick him.
That was one of the coolest things in that game. I haven't encountered too many of those like reaction moments, to be honest.
And like, is Paragon and Renegade a thing in this?
No, they've
Really?
system all together.
But is there like, they wouldn't call it necessarily Renegade option, but is there like a Renegade option or a Paragon option where it's like,
Yeah,
you get a
seems
chance
like
to
you
hug
do
somebody or something?
You do not necessarily like it was like press this to do thing.
Yeah.
I've only seen a couple of those so far, but there's definitely been like points in the dialogue where it's either like be honest or try and say it in a nice way kind of options. There's like a bit where you're trying to talk to your twin when he's in a coma, and it's like,
You have a twin?
yeah, so like you choose which one you are. So
Oh, you're a boy or the girl.
so you're either the boy or the girl, and the one retains it. And long story short, when you first get thawed out, essentially there is like a minor malfunction that causes gravity to fuck up on the station.
Yeah.
And it damages your twin's pod, so they can't wake him up straight away. And there's a point where I got to talk to him through Sam's implants, Sam being the AI that accompanies you. And basically there was a choice where I could either tell him that Dad was dead, or I could just not tell him that, basically.
Yeah. Okay. What did you say?
I just didn't say it.
See, I'd be like, yeah, Dad's dead. You can't wake up. What are you gonna do now, bitch boy? I'm out here. I'm out here fucking with your shit.
Shotgun.
Fuck you, Tara. Any more anarchists out there?
What's my gun by mistake? So it's holding X to swap, and then you can hold on PS4. You hold the touchpad to holster weapons.
Huh.
Someone's over here apparently.
Ah, yes. Raiders.
Oh, there we go.
Like, that seems really cool.
Yeah, like one of the things as someone who used charge a lot in older ones, it was really finicky. Like you could only hit them when they were on the ground.
Yeah.
If they were like running about, or if they got behind a wall, you couldn't hit them. Whereas in this point, you could just pull them up into the air and then charge them in the air.
Okay.
It feels like they've made the move a lot easier to use, which makes me happy, because I love charge, but it was always really finicky and sensitive about how you could use it. Like you could never use it on enemies that were flying in the air and stuff like that. Whereas in this case, there was some I was playing the other day and I was fighting something that's massive, like you had to shoot out weak points to then get to its main weak point.
Ah, yes, Rachni Queens.
Yeah, totally. No, but long story short, like when I got to its main weak point, it's like right up in the air, and I could just keep charging at it and then holding down to stay right in front of it and blast it with a shotgun. Yeah, which was pretty cool. I've leveled up again, so I'm going to put the rest into my barrier just to maximise my shield. Automatically restores shields to full strength when at low health once every 10 seconds, or I can get my health restored whenever I kill someone with a biotic ability.
It seems like you use a lot of biotic abilities.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
enemies,
because my go-to combination is to pull him in the air and then use the lance move to detonate a combo.
Requires a passcode, Pathfinder.
Passcodes. Let's have a look.
0451.
What's that from?
It's passcode.
It sounds specific, like it's from something else. I can't remember.
I don't know.
That's a scan.
It's a fucking treasure hunt.
Yeah, some of the missions do kind of do this a little too much. It's like, I know it's for all the complaining, I am actually enjoying this game.
Yeah.
It's just like I've said this to you before. But it's just like there's nothing that particularly stands out. As someone who's played all the other 3 Mass Effect games a lot, there's nothing about this game where I've particularly there's like, other than that one big encounter I've had that I thought I was just talking about. It's like the rest of this game's just like, this is fine. There's nothing particularly special about it, but there's.
But doesn't that seem like a big bummer?
Yeah.
For like a Mass Effect game to be like, you know, I've seen this in other games.
Especially it's supposed to be like an entirely new story. You're at this new uncharted world.
Yeah, like,
and for everything to be playing so close to home, it's just kind of like, yeah.
You would think that here, I'm not saying they're doing this, but you really think that for the first chapter of a new trilogy, they would really want to put their best foot forward on these kind of things. And so far, from what you've shown me now, and from stuff I've seen, I know, again, I'm sounding like I'm complaining, but it just doesn't seem like they've done that. And, like, a lot of people have said, like, well, look, this is like the Mass Effect 1 of this new trilogy. And it's like, yeah, but...
Mass Effect 1 was still a very good game.
Mass Effect 1 was still a decent game. But, like, yeah, but that was it. It was unique. But it was also Mass Effect 1. When you contextualize this into what numbered Mass Effect this is, people are going to say it's not Mass Effect 4. But it's Mass Effect 4. You know,
I can't find this other code, so I'm just going to save it for now, and we'll go into the multiplayer.
Well, do you want to keep doing the, like, is there...
That's kind of it, to be honest. Like, the combat and the quests.
Okay.
I think you don't need to go into that too much. So we'll hop into the multiplayer now. So multiplayer, once again, it's exactly the same as Mass Effect 3's multiplayer.
Okay. In
that you choose from a huge list of characters that all have different abilities and such. You get weapons from packs.
Okay.
They're still using the pack system, and each is just, you know, a horde mode.
Do you create your own custom character, or is it just Ryder?
You can create your own custom characters.
Okay.
So like you have human versions of every default class, and then you get like
you unlock like the Turian.
You unlock the rest of them like Turians.
Is Volus an option?
Sadly not. I realised this the other day. I was like, as far as I can tell, there are no Volus in this game, which is shit because the Volus.
No Hanar biotics.
Nah.
That's just. That is
maybe in DLC they might bring them back. So the top 3 rows are the human classes, and then I've got a Krogan Vanguard. I've got an Asari Huntress and an Angaran Surgeon. I think that's all I've got so far.
Okay. After a bit of a look at the multiplayer, do you know if you have any quests that we can maybe see some dialogue and some like trees and stuff like that going through it?
I can hop back and then just like go to the Nexus basically.
Yeah, try and do that, and we'll take a look around and see what stuff goes on. Because like, for as much as like there's the multiplayer and there's the combat and everything, I think the part that most people would like to see in Mass Effect is stuff like the dialogue and stuff to see how those conversations kind of fold out versus, you know, the Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect 2, like when we were talking about the Renegade and Paragon stuff, and you're saying that there's other kinds of responses. To see that kind of stuff would be kind of the crux of it. Because when you really boil it down, like Mass Effect 2, while it was such a great game to play as well as see, like the real part of it was talking to people. The combat scenarios were just something to do between you going, right, well, I want to get to this next group of conversations and see where the story can go from there. Which is kind of why I was saying, like, maybe we'll play one game of multiplayer and then go out some dialogue.
I guess I don't think about it like that. So I'm just going to use some standard weapons. So you got consumables that you can equip, boosters,
is there microtransactions?
Skills. Probably. I mean, this was like one of the first. I remember that Mass Effect 3 being one of the first big AAA games to start using microtransactions in some form.
It was like the unlockable packs.
All the characters have 3 skills and then 2 passive sets, and you can customize their colours on their armour. And then if I go to the store, like you got your packs, So the currency, the microtransaction currency is Andromeda points.
Really?
I don't know what the pricing is on them. I can't remember.
Just
I didn't
fucking
look at them.
not even like Pathfinder currency or like Pathfinder credits.
Just Andromeda points.
Andromeda points.
So
$3.99.
that's the pricing on them. Otherwise, you get them in game from completing them. So I've got 47,000 at the moment. So I'm just short of buying an expert pack. So if I play one game, I can buy that. You can then also just specifically buy individual character items. So I can buy character respecs, revive packs, all this junk, one-time use stuff for Andromeda points.
Is the revive packs, are they for in-game?
Self-reviving. Yeah, self-reviving in-game.
I was worried there for a second that like when you looked at your character selection, if you failed a mission, your character would be like down and you have to wait like a few hours for him to get back up or like to revive or get healed.
Right, so
which is good. That's not in there, but yeah, let's take a look.
So some of these, like I think they have like a rotating playlist of missions.
Yeah.
And like the Apex ones, like I was playing it the other day, and they can put mutators in. So the one I had was that it nerfed every other weapon except sniper rifles and made them more powerful to use.
Okay.
And another one was that it just made melee attacks in general more powerful.
Yeah.
So there's like, some of them can throw random mutators on essentially. I'm just thinking if there's any I might come up with it. Can't see any there, but yeah. Once again, you have the same thing as Mass Effect 3. It's bronze, silver, and gold difficulty.
Okay.
So if I just hit quick
Let's
match,
just go.
Or just do bronze.
See where this shit
goes.
goes.
Okay, here we go then. So we cut a bit there because the original game that I waited for a while, they didn't ready up, and then I was kind of waiting a while for this game to start. So this, yeah, like the combat is exactly the same. Just there's what you saw earlier. Just on wave-based fighting, you have ammo boxes randomly scattered around the maps.
Yes. So this is actually we've shifted this video. We're actually doing a look at Warframe.
Yes.
Because this looks just for some reason I'm just thinking this looks just like Warframe. You have the mobility stuff of the.
Oh yeah, you can still jump around like this.
But you kind of don't want to because it seems like the enemies are a bit more powerful, maybe.
Probably. I mean, I'm only playing a bronze difficulty match because my characters. I haven't really got any high-ranking characters yet either. This one we're just fighting against the Ket. I think you can have there's 3 different enemies at the moment. It's Ket, Remnant, or the Exiles. I got with that.
Sploosh. Is there any way to communicate with your teammates outside of voice chat?
I don't think so, no, I'm afraid.
Emotes or anything like that? Kind of wish that was a
No.
thing. Just people to go, I need cover, or use the D-pad. So what is, actually, quick question, what is, the D-pad is like your quick...
It's consumables.
Okay, and you said you never really find yourself using them?
I only, in the single player now, yesterday, or the other day when I was playing it, I ended up using them because we were fighting remnants and we got like these big, massive... If you think like those giant robots from 2 and 3, you can sometimes fight, we got like 2 of those stood right next to each other.
Okay.
And they had shields, armor, then health. So I just ended up using a consumable rocket launcher to take them both out. Because we were just going to get killed by them otherwise. So I think another thing with this is different difficulties go for less waves.
Yeah.
So bronze only goes for 7 and the 4th wave is an objective.
Interesting.
Jesus.
And what can the objectives range between? Is it like one person like hacks something while everybody else covers them? Or
I don't think there's individual hacks like that. I think it's more like go to this area to initiate the hack, and the more people that stand in, the faster it goes. There's kill 4 specific enemies within the time limit. I think there's one where it's like it marks out 4 different objects and says you need to go hack these, so you can all split up to go and get them. It's yeah, like I said, it's mostly just this stuff. If you played Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Same principles and ideas.
Quick question, it's just an aside, just to kind of talk about something else for a second.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Syndicate's multiplayer?
Only a little bit. I played the campaign of that game. I remember I liked it. I don't think I ever got around to the multiplayer.
The multiplayer was a really strong, like, I can't remember if it was necessarily class based, but there was specific things like this person or like two people need to hack this objective, while like one person holds off like waves of enemies or something like that. Like there was a lot of very team specific stuff, and you could pick different classes to kind of figure out what to do, and like, and if everybody picked the same class, it just wouldn't work as well. So everyone was incentivized to complete the objectives. You had to be different classes, and and there's not many games like that nowadays, and it's a weird thing to like for me just think of. Like that seems like a thing that would totally work in Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Where it was like, instead of having to level up a specific character with like who's using a specific class, your character was just assigned whatever class you chose. So like you were the human, and then like, quick question: when you level up these characters, can you export them into campaign to give you a bunch of bonuses or something?
No, but I think they can essentially be put into your strike teams.
Oh,
I'm not 100% on that. I haven't played around with it too much.
Okay.
But I think your strike teams can be made up of multiplayer characters.
Okay.
I might be completely wrong on that.
That sounds like something that would make sense, though.
Yeah. I mean, it is supposed to feed into the single player, but like not in the same way Mass Effect 3's, where it's like you had to do it or you could fail.
Yeah, it was the galactic readiness stuff.
It's more just, I think it can feed rewards to
yeah,
single player campaign as well.
That's still a cool way to do it, though. But I just like, I know I'm obviously speaking from like an armchair designer's perspective. I'm going to sound like a cynical bastard when I say it. I more mean like this would have been a cool idea of why wasn't the likes of the suicide mission from 2? Why couldn't there be multiplayer scenarios like that, where it's like, even if you're playing through training scenarios or you're playing through multiplayer missions where like your characters could die, why isn't there something like that where it's
I just don't get why they don't do more with this franchise in general, beyond just the mainline Mass Effect games.
Well, like, I mean, I think the thing is that these games work with the format they have. Maybe not so much this one from what I've seen so far.
Like outside stories that explain the universe.
Yeah, do you know what would have been a game that I kind of wanted, that I had heard about one time?
There was like a multiplayer shooter at one point, wasn't there?
No, it's not that. It was that somebody said they wanted a single player game where you played the Citadel cop.
Yeah.
And I thought that would have been really cool, because you're dealing with constant like
like a Telltale game. I think would be cool with this universe.
I wouldn't even think Telltale game, like proper like Mass Effect style game, but it's all set in the Citadel, or it's all set in the Nexus in this case, and you're a detective on the Citadel.
I just feel like they've got this massive universe. It's kind of disappointing they don't like do more with it.
You're always like, yeah, it's a weird thing to say, like with Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, that was kind of the case of you were the one thing to like save the universe, and then in this one you're, instead of maybe making it a different story, or you're somebody, maybe you're just an explorer, or you're just one person in this universe. It's not that anymore. No, you're just another shepherd. You're supposed to be another explorer to help save the whole universe and save races.
I would say each arc is supposed to have its own pathfinder. So it's supposed to be an Asari pathfinder, a Turian pathfinder. But of course those arcs haven't shown up yet. So I
wonder like if those characters show up, what are they like? Are they like why isn't that like, that's another aspect that I was kind of, what I would have been interested in, is what if it was just 4 pathfinders each of each different races, and those are your squad mates?
I would definitely like a mainline game where you kind of get more choice of what species you play as, and that can affect more of the gameplay, kind of like Dragon Age. But I think they make Dragon Age for the more hardcore, and this is supposed to be a bit more casual. Like
these are supposed to be, it's the universe. It's like, it's the Star Trek thing of the humans are the main characters in Star Trek.
Yeah.
And every other race is either just an ancillary thing. There's never a Klingon main character, like, or lead character. There's never a, outside of Spock. I mean, Spock is probably the closest thing you've got to a lead. But like, there's, in Star Wars, all the main characters are humans.
Yeah.
Like, they're all supposed to be our window into that universe. And Dragon Age, for whatever reason, they're like, well, you can pick whatever window you want into this world, while Mass Effect is like, this is the human perspective exploring the galaxy. Because for the human perspective, it's space. It's supposed to be the unknown. It's supposed to be these aliens. While fantasy stuff is like, you're in this world that's pretty crazy already, with all these, mystical creatures and other races and stuff like that. But at that point, this is just a space fantasy. This is space opera.
Yeah.
So it's just I totally get that. I totally
get with
the
original trilogy. I just
yeah.
Outside of that, I think now at this point this is a game. This is a franchise in itself that's very well known.
Yeah.
So it feels like they could it could try and get away with featuring a non-human character as the player character.
Or like why
or in
can't
a more active role?
Why can't you be the Turian Pathfinder?
Yeah.
Though I suppose that that spells a lot of. That would be like you're building almost 4 different campaigns because of most of the characters you're interacting with are of other races and they all treat each other differently. Like, if there was a Krogan Pathfinder, it's like, you'd be all dealing with the Krogans and it would essentially be a Klingon campaign where everyone's like trying to fight amongst each other. Or like, that's another thing actually, and that's never really explained. Or is it explained, where someone mentions that they cured the genophage?
It isn't known in this universe.
It's not known that it's cured, or that the genophage is cured. So are the Krogans in this one? Are they all effectively?
They still got the genophage.
They still have it. Okay, interesting.
As I said, like they set off before.
No,
I'm
well, yeah,
certain
but I mean, like
before Mass Effect 3 even began. So.
I mean, like, do they reference? Do any of the characters reference the fact that they still have the genophage? Like, not necessarily. I still have this, but
there was
like,
I remember one of the first Krogans I spoke to was talking about the genophage and was very open that they didn't like a Solarian character.
Oh, okay.
And the Solarian was pretty openly shitting on the Krogan as well.
Yeah.
In like individual conversations.
Okay.
So it's like it's essentially the world between Mass Effect 2 and 3, or like imagine that kind of narrative, what everybody was like at that point.
Just seems like such a weird place to put it. Like it's almost like a weird retcon in a way, where it's like, we're so far from everything else. Don't worry, all the things you liked from Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 1 and 2 are still here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, no guys, you're supposed to open this up. Because it's also the other problem with it, if they had continued from Mass Effect 3. Like, if they had said, oh, these are characters that were like 600 years on. It's like, well, what problems does everybody have? Apparently we're all still pretty cool with each other now. The Solarians and the Krogans don't hate each other as much anymore because Shepard cured the genophage.
I think it was always going to be difficult, to be honest, because Mass Effect 3 kind of wrapped off the Shepard story.
Doesn't it just kind of seem like maybe they shouldn't have made a new Mass Effect?
I mean, yeah, you can make that argument.
Or make it a prequel.
Yeah.
Make it a Turian Wars or a prequel, or something like that. First Contact.
Yeah.
It's a strange place to put it. It's a strange world to have to like retcon a bunch of stuff, or not retcon, but a strange world to set up a new story in. Yeah. Like, does anyone here make reference to Shepard?
No. I mean, I've encountered characters that have made reference to other characters, and one character that referenced some story events from Mass Effect 2. But I've never heard anyone like directly reference Shepard.
Just seems weird. Especially when
I mean, when I made the character, it asked me what gender Shepard was in the character creator, which makes me think it's got to come up at some point. But I haven't encountered any like direct references to Shepard yet.
Maybe when they do make reference to Shepard, the reason they ask is because then in like regular dialogue they'll be like he or she.
Yeah, that's what I figured. They just need the regular dialogue, but like I haven't encountered anyone directly mentioning Shepard or the Reapers.
What other characters have been referenced, if you don't mind me asking?
So I encountered Conrad Werner's sister. Do you remember the dedicated fan?
Yeah, no, I know, yeah.
And possibly an illegitimate son of Zeed.
Of Zeed,
DLC.
shit.
Yeah, I've encountered the character.
His son is in his loyalty mission, isn't he?
No, it was him going after his old gang.
Oh, Zaid. Sorry, I'm thinking of.
I think you're thinking of.
He's like a lizard creature person. He like.
Oh, Thane.
Thane, yeah.
So, yeah, so I mentioned. So those are the only two I've counted, and one character who references some events from Mass Effect 2 in a side quest.
Interesting. Okay.
To explain her motivations and why she's doing what she's doing in that side quest. So that's the main reason I think it's between 2 and 3, is because nobody seems to be talking about the Reapers, and they weren't really a major threat until the third one happened.
Yeah.
Until the third one begins.
Until the setup, until like the Arrival DLC. Yeah.
Yeah. See, no one's mentioned that.
Yeah, because that just straight up hadn't happened to these people.
So I think it's maybe around the time Mass Effect 2 was happening would be my best guess, but it's definitely before the third and after the first. Is my best guess, timeline-wise, as to when they set off. So we're at wave 6, so the next one should be the last one.
I might still give this a swing. I probably will, just for the sake of there's not much else coming out over summer. But
yeah, it's like I've said, like there's nothing inherently wrong with it. I think the storytelling hasn't quite grabbed me that much. But like from a pure gameplay perspective, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think it is a bit more on the bullshitty end with RPGs of just here's a load of random shit to do.
Here's a load of wank.
Because we can explain why you need to do it in the narrative without really putting effort behind it.
Fiend.
Fiend.
I believe it.
So this is Ket stuff again. I think these are wildlife though, the Fiend, technically. I don't think they're specifically working for the Ket.
You're gonna conk out, you might want to use one of your med kits.
So most of the big beasts just have armor as well, so you can't really hit them with biotics.
Oh, you're on wave 6.
Shit. Go down. Ugh. I've got a rate for a teammate to hopefully revive me. Oh, someone else has gone down. Oh, I'm up. Oh, I self-revived.
Sweet.
So they can turn invisible. You can still shoot them if you know. But it's like Halo invisibility.
Yeah, it's like Predator blur or whatever.
It's more like a blur. So if you look closely, you can see them still.
Anointed.
Yeah, as I said, this is a Ket. The common hostile alien race.
Doesn't it seem just kind of dumb that like every intelligent race all just look like just humans in a different variation? They're all humanoid.
Yeah.
Like why can't they be like a quadra? Or, I was gonna say
like the Elcor.
Yeah, like why can't they be like not necessarily like the Elcor, but why can't they be something that has like look like centaurs or something like that? It's just that they're like no, you know, like when I seen these things, you know, what they look like.
What?
They look like collectors.
Yeah.
They look just like collectors to me.
And I haven't really had any explanation on them or their background, other than that they've been fighting with the Angara for years.
They look like collectors or the Protheans.
Well, Protheans were collectors.
But you know what I mean, like they look like the mutated versions of the Protheans, which were the collectors. Let me tell you, I have not played a single second of this game.
Why has my screen gone black?
Host I guarantee the host has left the game.
Ah, fucking wonderful. After all that. To not get any rewards.
Please tell me that's not actually the case and they don't just migrate the...
No, I'm pretty sure for Lost Connection it doesn't have post migration.
Wow.
I don't know. I haven't played multiplayer so much, that's maybe like my 5th or 6th game of it.
But usually is there like a cinematic at the end?
Mission aborted. But oh, I did get some XP at least.
Yeah, you got some stuff.
Taking her up.
Is there any missions you have, like story-based missions you can do?
I think my 2 story missions right now are to look at 2 unlimited planets. I think I've been on the other 3 planets, so it's just looking at these last 2.
Well, if you look at the other one, will it make you do the same stuff as before? As like
no, they've all had different settings.
Okay, so let's take a look at that one.
Could we talk a moment?
No. So that's what they call immersion gameplay. You can choose not to talk to him, and that will have repercussions down the line.
Okay, Eladon was supposed to be good one, and from what I understand, this is like a jumble planet. So
this is an actual planet and not a rock in the middle of space. Exactly. Which what or most planets are just rocks in space.
We're on course.
We're still gonna just cut to the next planet. We're just gonna call this out. There's way too much dead air. You hungry?
Not really.
Okay.
I could maybe just go for a snack again or something. Okay.
But sure, just hold it until you're hungry. When we go over to Andrews, we'll just order food.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Okay. Elidon.
After we have some stuff done on this planet, we'll just go over to Andrew.
Okay.
Sam, send Callow the nav point
Don't
provided
put
by
the
our
blame
probing
on me.
contact.
Right.
Drac,
So
we're
we cut a
landing on
little bit to
Elidon
here.
to rendezvous with Jorgal Strux.
Just made that name up.
Drac is the Krogan squad mate.
Is he just Rex?
Kind of, yeah. Just kind of, I love to fight and shit like that. Also, he's really old. And he has a granddaughter on the Nexus.
Ah.
Where is this meeting place exactly?
Called the Paradise. Middle of nowhere as far as I can tell.
Paradise is different for a Krogan.
That's fine. Don't describe what it is, Drax. What is paradise for a Krogan?
Remnant starship. No.
That just looks like they flew through a mirrored shot.
41% exposed. I will gather what information I can, Pathfinder.
So that's remnant stuff, basically.
Okay.
No, they all look the same like that.
So why are all the robot remnants dead? Is because the Shepard chose to pick destroy the ending, red ending, and killed all synthetic life. Obviously, it proves the red ending is canon, Luke. Obviously.
No idea.
Whoa, realistic tree physics. Don't all stop shaking at the same. Are you kidding me? They all look like they're at the same animation, just pointed at different angles.
Who lives here besides the Krogan?
Scavengers with nothing to lose. Criminals chucked out of Kadara.
Gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna head to
This
the
planet for
colony
5 seconds and my
smooth the
entire armor is
waters.
covered in dust.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's go have a chat.
Okay. Let's have a look.
Shavaganda.
We want to be careful. From what I hear, it's swarming with scum. Just make sure you know where your guns are.
Yeah, sprinting is infinite in this. There's no limit on how long you can sprint for.
Hey, hey! Welcome, welcome. Come this way. Follow me. That's a fancy ship, all right?
Okay. You'll find lots of deals inside.
It's a fair exchange.
Why? Because you say it is.
Pardon me, I wouldn't be in business if I wasn't fair. If you don't think so, go trade
Step
somewhere
off.
else.
Not allowed back here.
I will.
That's a weird voice for a Krogan to have.
Yeah, like a lot of the female Krogans. I think they've tried to put more female Krogans in this, but they all have weird voices.
You're not really supposed to be able to tell the difference between them, can't you?
No.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Shushing me.
Because it was one of the weird things about Mass Effect
Are
2
you
or
Jorgal
3. You
Strux?
didn't see a female Krogan until Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, it's the same for Taurians. Like that Taurian's female.
Yeah.
You
Sarah
didn't see any
Ryder,
female Taurians
Pathfinder
until
for the
Omega.
initiative.
The Omega
You
DLC.
asked me to
Yeah.
meet you here.
Yeah, I did. Thanks for coming.
So yeah, you have these two ones where it's like, essentially, I think these are kind of similar-ish. So like, I think, I'm not sure what that one's supposed to be. That one's supposed
Everyone's
to be emotional,
best chance for
basically.
survival is to cooperate. That includes the Krogan.
Good. Nice to know some people are on our side. So, there's problems at the colony.
So a lot of the Krogans got
It's heading
exiled
to a
in
bad
that
place.
revolt as well.
Okay.
There's not many left on
We
the
can't be there
Nexus.
anymore.
Morta's become a tyrant.
Did she kick you out?
Hasn't come to that yet, so we're laying low. I want to keep my eye on her. She's planning a strike against the Nexus, that much we know.
Drac trusts Morta, and I trust Drac.
I'm there. Drac isn't. Morta is going to rip this colony apart. And then we're all going to die.
Krogan dying. Your homeworld's worse than this place.
Everyone needs food and water, even Krogan. Morta's rationing. My group thinks the Krogan should make peace with the Nexus.
We need the Krogan and the Krogan need us. We all came to Andromeda as one. We should at least try to fix this.
Well, there won't be a colony to make peace with if Morta ruins it. You don't believe me? Go to the Krogan colony yourself and see what she's planning. Talk to Ravenar Brink. He's one of us, on the inside.
If the safety of the Nexus is really on the line, I'll go. Better hope she doesn't shoot me on sight.
Yeah, that'd be a bad omen.
He wants to hug. Hug him.
What's he doing?
Hug him.
So it's like he's still talking but not saying anything.
What are these animations like?
I don't know what he's doing now.
Yeah, you got this. You got this. He's like trying to give you a pep talk. Now he's just standing.
I'm just gonna check this vendor and do some work.
You're Ania.
Wow.
That's right. You've heard of me.
Word gets round.
And you're in complete dark.
You thrive on Eladin, which is supposed to be uninhabitable.
True. I have made something of a paradise here. No fighting, no violence. Outside the gates, you're on your own, but in here, you're safe. Anyone violates the peace, they have to answer to me.
Being able to maintain control here must be difficult.
These people need me. They need what I sell, so they behave, or they're out. Now what can I get you? How can I help? Just let me know.
What can I buy?
I don't know. What do you have to trade? Mostly I sell water, but you should go out to the tanks if you want that.
Is there anywhere else on the planet to, I don't know, find water?
Not really. And if I don't like the look of you or you get on my bad side, then no water for you.
This like has absolutely nothing to do with the conversation.
Nah. Right, so I can buy Nomad mods as well. You can get general like faster shields, better shields, or drive faster or something like that.
Yeah.
She just mostly seems to be selling junk.
Stuff that makes your Nomad a little better.
Yeah. So I'll just buy them. They just get fitted automatically. You don't have to like swap out upgrades on the Nomad.
Okay. Right, should I continue ahead and see what the next thing is? The Krogan colony.
Automated protocols activated. Deploying forward station. Heat levels increasing. Mining zones have been added to your nav system, Pathfinder. Environmental temperatures are within acceptable limits. I'm reading a normal temperature range, Pathfinder.
So, Eladin. Charming so far. What do we got? Besides the sand.
The Remnant monolith suggests this was indeed supposed to be a golden world. It also suggests the presence of a vault. Additionally, here is the large derelict remnant ship that we saw as we landed.
Hopefully abandoned.
Scans indicate it is not. The site is active with scavengers and remnant bots. Here, scavengers have taken over an abandoned camp between the two. In this direction, located in one of the planet's sinkholes, is New Tuchanka, the Krogan colony.
Sinkholes. Sounds fun.
Not really. Eladin is tidally locked to its sister moon and that gas giant above. This side of the moon never cools. Getting trapped in a sinkhole without shelter would mean certain death, as one's blood would boil in 75 seconds.
And on that cheery note, let's head for the climate-controlled paradise of the Nomad.
It seems like at every turn they're trying to crack a joke. Like Sam's like self-seriousness is like constantly saying, "This is the way a planet could kill you," and then your character's like, "Well, I guess we're gonna go." It's like, what the fuck is this? Does everyone just talk like this? Is everyone just a snarky jackass?
Not really.
Like they did the same thing on the ice planet. They were just, or no, they did the same thing on the meteor, where they were like, "Oh, if you go out there, the radiation will kill you. It'll boil your entire body on a molecular level." And Ryder's just like, "Oh, well, I guess I better not do that."
What was that voice?
That's fucking what it sounds like. That's what she just did.
Environmental temperatures are within acceptable limits. Heat levels increasing.
Rig ahead. We should shake the outlaws.
So is this where the Krogan colony is now?
So, Morta's still pissed off at the Nexus. You'll want to be careful around her, kid.
It's amazing they managed to set up any kind of working colony on this hellscape. Amazing's about right. Maybe crazy.
And so the only reason that there's the likes of the Krogan, like everybody that you're meeting here now, are all just remnants of the people that came 14 months before the arc.
Yeah, well, these are the ones that got exiled in that rebellion.
Okay. And so all this shit happened in 14 months.
Yeah, 14 months before the human arc arrived.
Okay.
The ambient temperature is normal. Automated protocols activated. Deploying forward station.
New Tachanka coming up. Move along. No outsiders. She's with me. Human Pathfinder.
Drac. It's been a while.
Jorgel Strux sent me. I'm supposed to talk with Morta.
So now Strux is friends with the Nexus. Traitor. Think I'm a traitor too? Shut it, Greg.
Don't make me headbutt you. I absolutely will.
Tougher than you look. All right, go ahead. I'll spread the word so Morda knows you're here. Good.
I'm reading a normal temperature range, Pathfinder. Mining zones have been added to your nav system, Pathfinder.
It was an accident.
Hello. I noticed you were listening. Is it because you're a fan of the Krogan genius, Dr. O'Keir? I'm frantic because a terminal with all his research was accidentally sold to a junker.
No. Maybe. What was on it?
His work regarding Krogan physiology and the genophage was advanced. I was his protege. Or, I was acquainted with his protege.
Anyway, it's encrypted, but it would be bad if it fell into the wrong hand. I can give you a nav.
It just seems weird that you would walk up to this conversation and you wouldn't even come up and go, "Hey, what are you guys working on?"
Yeah.
You walk up, you just press X, he's like, "Here's my life story, you want to help?"
Done. I hope it's still on the planet. The Junker was aggressive.
I know I'm being very nitpicky, but Mass Effect is a series built on little details.
Yeah.
On really, really strong character writing, on being able to just, I don't know. Or like if you walked across him mumbling to himself, but no, it's just you straight up walk up and he goes, "Oh, hey, here's all my problems. You want help?"
Been out to see about a rat.
And you're like, "Yeah."
Pretty wild.
I don't care if they're hungry. They'll fight or they'll be thrown out.
It's also a weird thing with
You
talking.
having a
It
break?
seems it's not just
Struck
you walk
sent
up and
me.
you have to
He said that
specifically
you-
position yourself somewhere quite a few times.
Yes. Find me later near the fighting pit.
Hey, Nexus. I'm the one you talk to around here.
Are you Morta?
I'm Nakmor Morda, Overlord of the Krogan in Helios.
Overlord?
Drac, Kesh said you had a new job.
She didn't tell me you did.
And you're the celebrated Pathfinder from the Hyperion, found at last.
I'm Ryder.
This is thrilling. I've never stood so close to a Pathfinder before. Mostly because the Krogan never got one. Welcome to New Tachanka.
I understand you and your people are pissed off.
Humans were welcomed into the Citadel Council with open arms, while the Krogan endured centuries of oppression. You have no idea. Your understanding only makes me mad.
Okay, gotcha. Loud and clear.
Why are you here, Pathfinder? To see what a successful colony looks like.
Yeah, that's fine, Ryder. Don't like be diplomatic and everything. Just
Our
fucking
outposts
respond
were
like,
new.
yeah.
Use the advice.
Your manipulation is so transparent. No advice for you, only regret. Watch, the Krogan will thrive and the initiative will pay. Get out of my face before I smash it.
I'm going to journal about this later. See you soon.
Morta's a hard ass, but that surprised even me. Not good.
Yeah? Maybe.
Wreck.
She was super clear about us paying. She said we
Fix
pay.
that leak?
Let's talk to Brank before we freak out. Ravenor Brank.
Quiet. Anyone tells Morta I'm talking to you and I'm kicked out.
Last thing I want to do is jeopardize the Nexus or this colony.
Me neither. Or Clan Ravenor. Or Clan Jorgal. Or Clan Urdnot. Some in Clan Nakmor too.
Okay, got it.
Did you see the crashed ship as you landed? Morta's after the drive core.
That's Remnant. No way she can use it.
What are you talking about? She's building a bomb.
With the drive core as a power source. Sam?
Dangerous to those handling it, but, in the end, very possible.
Demolition teams have been busting down walls for months, battling those robots and scavengers. Lots here want peace with the Nexus. If Morta gets that drive core, boom, it's over. Now get away from me. Thanks, Brank. Ignore Team Ringo.
We'll go check out this derelict remnant shit then.
Like the other thing that I'm kind of interested in is like, do you find yourself running through these areas like this Krogan, like New Tachanka, or maybe like one of the other planets? When you're walking through, do you walk into a side quest setup? Like, remember you'd be walking around the Citadel or like the undercity like part of the Citadel, and you'd run across like a guy being mugged by a bunch of Vorcha.
Yeah, I haven't really encountered that kind of stuff. There is like points of you can overhear conversations sometimes,
and then it just adds in a
but
quest.
it's not like you walk into cutscenes. Or like you'll overhear people, and then it'll say,
me.
"Hey, why don't you talk to this person?"
Yeah.
What do you do at the colony?
Botany. Sort of. I'm Vorn's apprentice. He's the real genius with plants.
I'll leave you.
This is just all. Right, where did I come out? Why did I even come into this place? It wasn't there. Go back to my Nomad.
Let's just go back to the derelict remnant ship. After the remnant ship, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, actually, the waypoint. One thing the waypoint is very good at is like kind of directing you out of buildings.
Yeah.
Like as you can see, it's moving around, keeps changing location to help guide me out of the building, basically. Like I've noticed that when I'm looking at quests on the Nexus, like it'll set itself at a staircase, and when I go up the staircase, it'll change again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of helpful to do that. Look, it'll probably move again after I got this door. Yeah. That's where.
Your solid gold Mako.
Yes.
So we both know
gold is
gold are the best skins in any game ever.
Yeah. As we've told Lynx repeatedly in Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six Siege, gold skins are the ultimate skin. You're only as cool as the gold color on your weapons. I discover that all the time.
What?
Languish. Oh, all of this just seems unnecessary.
Yeah. I do kind of miss... I still like Mass Effect 2 where it was just kind of, you talk to someone to go somewhere and then you'd have big lengthy shootouts around
Like,
those areas.
like looking around, you're like, what is there to do? Like, look left. What's there to do up there?
Those, whatever they are. I don't know if they'll actually anything. It's like, here we go, I'm going for this remnant ship.
Like, there's nothing interesting about this planet. There's nothing to do on the way there.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's this. And like, what is this? This is wank. This is pure wank. And like, people are gonna say, I'm being negative about, but like, there's literally nothing to do. I'm doing nothing.
It's just time wasting.
It's just wasting time.
Like, I get in this case they're trying to build a sense of wonder. It's like, hey, look how fucking big this thing is. But you could do that in a cutscene.
Exactly.
Instead of just forcing me to waste time driving out here like this.
Just gonna drive around it. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding. Wait, you have infinite boost?
No.
What if I were gonna run into a bunch of angry remnant?
Red ending.
I wonder if Remnant get cranky.
Red ending.
Take World War brought down. Red ending. Destroy all synthetic life.
I mean, it did have import world state options. Or like, I guess you could import your Mass Effect endgame save. It might have an effect on the world somehow, but I doubt something of this scale.
Yeah, like I love how they go. Well, we've built a world where all of your choice, like ending choices matter, and you're like, what about the one where you blended synthetic and organic life? What happened to the one which is, this is in my opinion the best Mass Effect ending, and it's still an awful ending, where you tell the Reaper leader, you go, or whatever his name is, you go, I choose nothing. Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah.
I choose nothing. That's my favorite ending. Because it's the one ending that I feel truly that I had a choice in. He's like, you'll go through this knowing that all your efforts were in vain. And he goes, yeah. And guess what? I get to die free. And that's how I'll die knowing I did everything I could to stop you. And that's, in my opinion, the best ending of Mass Effect. Easily. Because it's the one time they actually let you have a choice in those games. But look, it's enough about Mass Effect 3.
So we mix around Exiles and Remnant.
The Remnant are those things.
These robots, basically.
Ribs. So, do you usually do this on every planet?
Oh yeah, this Remnant console stuff seems to come up on every planet.
Okay. And so what's so significant about the Remnants?
Well, it's like a mysterious race. The Angara don't seem to know anything about them. I think the Ket are pretty common at
they're like worshipping them.
Yeah, and then you've still got all these robots like lying around that still.
Your health.
Yeah,
you're about to die.
Like two enemies sitting really far away. They're still just taking pot shots at us. We've got them now.
Yes.
Not before it fucked me over. Good try.
Yes.
Alright, let's have a look, 'cause this might be leading to a vault or something.
You'll need to scan for the
there's this.
Oh, so Sudoku.
Yes, it is exactly Sudoku, just with symbols.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It's the fucking worst. So I've got to follow. Firstly you have to
find
the glyphs.
Oh my god, you gotta be fucking
kidding
me.
This stuff is just bad. It's not very interesting.
Are you serious?
So I've got to get the other glyphs. Sometimes it's like 1 to 3. So now that I have all the glyphs,
what was the point?
No, now I have to do, because you're basically missing a symbol, so you have to go get that symbol so that you can then try and work out what is basically Sudoku. There is nothing else about it. It is just Sudoku. And it's a fucking pain in the ass. It's alright.
Decrypt by assigning glyphs to the grid. No row, column, or must be... Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's just Sudoku. There's really nothing else to it. It's an absolute pain in the ass. I have had to go to resort to guides on quite a few occasions when it comes to this fucking thing. Fuck.
If your first try doesn't work, Luke, I will not punish you for using a decryption key.
You can get it all online. There's already guides out that just point out everything.
No, but I'm saying here, in this situation.
The worst part is sometimes when you get it wrong, it's like, oh, you got it wrong. Here, you're gonna have to fight some enemies. Yeah, it's fucking horrible.
My God.
This is probably the worst thing about this game for me. That this puzzle isn't like original or interesting anyway. It's just fucking Sudoku, and it can tend to punish you by making you fight NDF. Fuck.
It appears that was incorrect.
Just use the encryption key.
Yeah, I'll just use the encryption key for now. They're like an expensive thing though to buy, and sometimes you can find them. But it just like that thing is just terrible. I really don't like that. I get like wanting puzzles, but Sudoku's a bit much for what's supposed to be a bit more casual, I guess.
It just seems tedious as fuck because it's like, wow, it was a hacking game where the remnant race, this apparently super intelligent, super mystical race, didn't think another race might think, hey, do you think these guys know what Sudoku is?
Lawless, crazy, murderous. Never mind the water mafia.
Gotta be a big reward for those
Water Mafia is my Little Mermaid rap group.
Information from Kadara lists raw materials from remnant architecture as extremely profitable.
There's a lot of damage in here. Better watch our step. Hopefully we can find a route to the drive core, then get out of here. Heads up! Maybe this place isn't functioning as well as we thought.
If that also means the killer bots, I won't complain.
Thankfully, when you fall, it just does that.
Just damages you.
I don't think you can technically die from it anyway. I don't think like the game will actually kill you and force you to sit through a loading screen for a simple fucking up a jump or falling off or something. Even like if you're in the middle of combat and you fall off, it'll just spawn you back somewhere.
The drive core's not here. Someone's been here, but they didn't come in the way we just did. Couldn't have.
Ship is pretty busted up. Someone found another way in.
That's what we get for coming in the right way.
So, who has it?
Scavengers? Gotta be.
I agree. Seems like the most likely culprit.
What's with her
We
chin?
just have to find our way out and track them down.
PB's like lips and chin. Just over moving or something?
No idea. No, not going there for some reason. Ultimately, is it?
Huh. I don't think these belong here.
Flares. That's not remnant tech.
The intruders must have entered from this direction.
Also, yeah, sometimes with Remnant they won't like immediately attack you. The whole thing is they just sort of passive and defend. So if you can avoid them, sometimes they just won't attack you. I forgot that. I just immediately charged everything. So there's probably a chance you could slip through this area without getting into a fight with them.
Excuse me?
No idea what she said.
So much violence.
No wonder about the dead scavengers. Naturally, they're getting their asses kicked.
So this is how they got in, whoever it was.
Wasn't Orda who took the drive core. If she knew about this entrance, they wouldn't try to break in.
Finally, back out into the bright, scorching light of day.
Meh. Better than rain.
We've got a lock on your position. Sending down a forward station.
Subi, Sam's uploaded a signature from the remnant dry core housing. Can you trace
Should we leave it there then? Should that's enough?
Is this it? So wait.
So it's telling me where my next quest is to find where the drive core has gone. Because it could be used in a bomb.
Yeah, I think I've seen all I need to see for this video. For now anyway.
So yeah, like as I said, it's there's just nothing that's particularly stood out.
Yeah, this seems like a game built to really irk me, and I know I'm pretty down on this game as it is, but Jesus, seems like a lot to do, but not a whole lot fun
There's not a
to
lot
do.
of meaning or really interesting reason to do shit sometimes. Like I'm enjoying it, just there's nothing that's just like making me sit up and go, this is cool, this is amazing. It's just like, you know, this is all right. I'm fine doing this most of the time.
Review forthcoming.
Yeah, but I don't know when.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same with Horizon at the moment. We're looking at doing a. Let me show you for Has Been Heroes out next month, which is actually not completely incorrect. Which should be out on the 4th of April. The game is out on 4th of April. We'll probably do it that week. Is there any other releases you can think of out in the next few days? I mean, I'm thinking about getting a Switch in the next week or two. Outside of that, I can't really think of much else.
No, I can't think of it for myself.
Yeah, struggling for it, but sure. Look, Mass Effect Andromeda. It's a game.
Yeah.
It has things in it that are apparently not too terrible. I don't know how I feel about it. I was thinking about picking it up, and maybe after seeing some of this, I'm really reconsidering it. But who knows? I might just pick it up out of fucking blind curiosity. Outside of that, there doesn't seem to be much else coming out in way of video games to review. So maybe this is the time when we're going to start delving into a lot more kind of personal projects.
I can finish that Dead Rising thing I want to do.
You can start and finish that Dead Rising thing, and I will give you a hand with that if you would like. But for now, that is going to do it. We are going to wrap this up. Jesus Christ, this went for nearly 2 hours, Luke.
Well, some of it's got to get cut.
Some of it, but sure, look.
I think it's probably going to come in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, about an hour and a half. But sure, look, we'll leave it there anyway. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to subscribe and all that shite. So, take a handy. See you now.